My wife's family treats me like an ATM, and I'm about to cut them off. Hey Reddit, so I'm Ethan, 34, and I'm married to Serena. Sounds nice, right? Except her family, the Vandergelts, are loaded, and they act like they own the world. I'm a pretty successful architect, but to them, I'm just Mr. Moneybags, footing the bill for their lavish lifestyle while they sneer at my simple tastes. I bust my ass, and they treat me like dirt. They're always making these little digs, these jokes that cut deep. They love to compare my perfectly good car to their luxury rides, and don't even get me started on the investment advice they constantly throw my way. It's like they think I'm stupid with money just because I don't flaunt it like they do. It's been building for years, this resentment, this feeling of being used. And something happened recently that might be the final straw. I don't know what to do. Should I just walk away? Am I crazy for even thinking about it? This could blow up my whole life. So Serena got a big promotion recently. Of course, the Vandergelts threw a huge party. Champagne flowing, caviar everywhere, you know the drill. I'm standing there, trying to make small talk with some of Serena's relatives I barely know when Reginald, her father, saunters over with a glass of scotch in hand. He claps me on the shoulder, a little too hard, and raises his voice so everyone around us can hear. Ethan, my boy, he booms. Still designing those practical buildings. He gives this little condescending chuckle, and a few of his cronies join in. My face is burning, but I try to laugh it off. Then he delivers the real gut punch. He looks at the crowd and says, loud enough for everyone to hear, at least Serena can afford to pursue her passions thanks to someone's steady income. The room goes quiet. I can feel the blood draining from my face. It's like the whole world is watching me, waiting for my reaction. I wanted to scream. I wanted to punch him in his smug face. But I just froze. I felt this wave of nausea wash over me. It wasn't just the insult, it was the public humiliation. The way he reduced me to nothing but a paycheck, a walking wallet, in front of all these people. People Serena wants to impress. Later, I tried to talk to Serena about it, how much it hurt. You know what she said? He was just being playful, Ethan, you're being too sensitive. Too sensitive? My stomach twisted. I felt like I was going to be sick again. She said her family loves me, but the look in her eyes, it wasn't love. It was pity. And that, maybe more than anything Reginald said, was the real knife twist. My own wife siding with them, minimizing my pain. Suddenly, I felt completely alone. Trapped. Like I was drowning in a sea of Vandergelt money and indifference. And I'm starting to think I might need to swim for shore, even if it means leaving everything behind. So last night was something. I tried to talk to Serena and her parents, like really talk, about how they treat me. I thought, maybe if I explain calmly, rationally, how their constant digs and jokes make me feel, they'll finally get it. I was so wrong. We were having dinner at their place, this massive, opulent dining room that feels more like a museum than a place to eat. The air was thick with tension, even before I opened my mouth. My palms were sweating. My heart was pounding. I took a deep breath and started to explain how Reginald's comment at the party made me feel, how it wasn't just a joke, how it was humiliating. Reginald, I said, trying to keep my voice steady, what you said at the party about my career, it really hurt. It felt dismissive, like you don't respect what I do. He just chuckled, waving his hand dismissively. Oh, Ethan, you're so serious. We were just having a bit of fun. You can't take everything so personally. My jaw clenched. It's not just that, I continued, pushing down the rising anger. It's the constant comments about my car, the investment advice, the way you all seem to think I'm just Serena's bank account. Serena's mother, Penelope, chimed in, her voice dripping with condescension. Darling, we just want what's best for you both. We're simply offering guidance. You have to admit, your financial decisions haven't always been the most sophisticated. Sophisticated? I practically choked on my wine. Sophisticated. I'm debt-free, I have a stable income, I provide for your daughter. What's not sophisticated about that? Reginald scoffed. Well, you could certainly be doing more with your money, investing in something with a bit more panache, like Graham's latest venture, for instance. Graham, Serena's brother, the guy who burns through money like it's going out of style. My blood started to boil. Graham's venture. I practically spat out the words. The one that crashed and burned, taking who knows how much money with it. The one I wasn't even told about. Serena finally spoke, her voice tight. Ethan, please, let's not do this here. Not do this here, I repeated, my voice rising. When am I supposed to do this, Serena? When they're bleeding me dry behind my back, Penelope gasped dramatically. Bleeding you dry. How dare you accuse us of such a thing? Reginald leaned forward, his eyes narrowed. You're being incredibly ungrateful, Ethan. We've welcomed you into our family, and this is how you repay us. Ungrateful. That word hung in the air like a poison gas. It was in that moment, surrounded by their fake outrage and manufactured offense, that I realized this wasn't normal family conflict. This was something else entirely. This was toxic. This was abuse. I pushed back my chair, the legs scraping against the polished floor. I'm done, I said, my voice shaking. I'm done being your personal ATM. I'm done being your punching bag. I'm done. And I walked out. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I know I can't keep living like this. I need to protect myself. I need to protect my sanity. I don't know where to start. A week later, and things have gone from bad to worse. It's like they've declared all-out war. They've brought in the reinforcements. Aunts, uncles, cousins I haven't seen in years, they're all suddenly calling, texting, emailing. Each message is a variation on the same theme. How could you treat the Vandergelts this way? They've been so generous to you. Generous. They act like I'm some charity case they've deigned to take under their wing. It's infuriating. My Aunt Mildred, who I've met maybe twice in my life, left a particularly nasty voicemail. Ethan, she said, her voice dripping with fake concern, Serena's parents are so worried about you. They say you've been acting erratically. Are you sure you're all right, dear? Perhaps you need to speak to someone. Speak to someone. I almost threw my phone across the room. They're trying to make me look crazy. They're trying to gaslight me. And then, this morning, the real kicker. Serena's cousin, Tiffany, posted a picture on Instagram. It's a photo of me from the party, mid-conversation with someone, with the caption, "When your brother-in-law mistakes the champagne fountain for his personal drinking trough." Classy Keeping Vitriol Vandergelt Gala. The comments are filled with laughing emojis and snarky remarks about my simple background. I'm being publicly humiliated again. This time by the extended Vandergelt clan. My hands are shaking just typing this. I can't focus at work. I can't sleep. I feel like I'm constantly on edge, waiting for the next attack. Serena is trying to play peacemaker, but it's not helping. She keeps saying I need to just apologize and smooth things over. Apologize for what? For standing up for myself, for finally calling them out on their bullshit. No, I'm done apologizing. This isn't about money anymore, it's about respect. It's about dignity. It's about my sanity. And I'm starting to realize I might have to fight fire with fire. I might have to burn it all down to save myself. So I was grabbing coffee with Maya, a colleague from work, brilliant architect, really gets me. I was still reeling from that disastrous dinner with Serena's family, the whole "you're ungrateful" speech ringing in my ears. I'd been hesitant to talk about it, you know. It's embarrassing to admit your in-laws treat you like a walking wallet. But I was so stressed, I just blurted it all out. Told her about the jokes, the constant digs, the feeling of being used. Maya listened, really listened. And when I was done, her face was like thunder. Ethan, she said, her voice low, this isn't normal, this is abusive. Abusive. That word hit me like a ton of bricks. I'd never thought of it that way. I just thought, I don't know, that I was being too sensitive, like Serena said. But hearing Maya say it, someone outside the situation, it changed everything. They're isolating you, she continued, making you doubt yourself, chipping away at your self-worth. They're using your financial stability to control you, to keep you in this subservient position. Subservient. Another word that just resonated. It was like she was putting words to feelings I hadn't even realized I had. She told me stories about similar dynamics she'd seen, about families who prey on the nice guy, the one who always tries to please everyone. Ethan, she said, looking me straight in the eye, you need to stop trying to impress people who are determined to never be impressed. They don't value you for who you are, they value you for what you can provide. And that's not a healthy foundation for any relationship. It was like a light bulb went off in my head. I'd been so focused on trying to win their approval, I hadn't realized I didn't even want IT anymore. I realized Maya was right. It wasn't about the money, it was about respect. And I wasn't getting any from the Vandergelts, not even close. I started crying, right there in the coffee shop. Years of suppressed anger, frustration, and humiliation just poured out of me. Maya put her hand on mine. It's okay, she said softly. You're not alone, and you don't have to put up with this anymore. That conversation with Maya, it was a turning point. It gave me the clarity and the courage I needed to start fighting back. To start prioritizing my own well-being, even if it meant risking everything. I finally realized I deserved better. I deserved to be valued for who I am, not for the size of my paycheck. And I was finally ready to do something about it. So I was going through some old mail, the kind you shove in a drawer and forget about, when I found it. A credit card statement. Not mine, Serena's. I know I shouldn't have, but I opened it. My heart stopped. There it was in black and white, a $20,000 cash advance. $20,000. My blood ran cold. We hadn't made any big purchases, hadn't discussed any loans. I called Serena immediately. "What the hell is this?" I asked, my voice shaking. She stammered, avoided eye contact. Finally, she confessed. She'd given the money to Graham, her brother, for his revolutionary tech startup, the one that tanked spectacularly 6 months ago, the one they never even told me about. "He swore he'd pay me back," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "Pay you back?" I roared. "With what, Serena?" "With the unicorn tears he's been collecting." She started to cry. The usual Vandergelt tears. The ones that used to make me feel guilty. Not this time. This time I felt nothing but rage, pure, unadulterated rage. This wasn't about the money, not really. It was about the betrayal, the secrecy, the utter disrespect. They had treated me like a human ATM for years, and now this. This was the final straw, the breaking point. The moment I snapped, it felt like something inside me shattered. Like a dam bursting, years of resentment flooding through me. My chest ached, my hands clenched into fists. I could barely breathe. I hung up on her. I couldn't even look at her. Right then and there, something shifted inside me. The fear, the doubt, the guilt, it all evaporated. I was done. Done being their puppet. Done being their silent, compliant piggy bank. I was done being a Vandergelt doormat. I knew what I had to do. I needed to confront them, all of them. And I needed to make sure they understood once and for all that I wasn't going to take it anymore. This wasn't a game anymore. This was war. Okay, Reddit, buckle up. This isn't a rant, this is a battle plan. I'm done being Mr. Nice Guy. I'm done being the Vandergelt's personal piggy bank. It's time for payback. First, I needed hard evidence. I'm not going into this unarmed. I dug through our finances, every bank statement, every credit card bill. I found more unauthorized transfers to Graham's failed ventures, smaller amounts Serena had tried to hide. I scanned everything. I even found an old email from Reginald advising Serena to invest my money in one of his shady schemes. Jackpot. I saved everything to a secure cloud drive and made multiple physical copies. Paranoia? Maybe, but I'm not taking any chances. Next, I talked to a lawyer, a shark, someone who specializes in family disputes and financial fraud. He laid out my options, explained my rights. It was empowering knowing I wasn't powerless. He also advised me to document everything. Every interaction, every phone call, every email, so I started a journal. Not just emotions, but dates, times, specific quotes. Everything. My lawyer said this documentation would be crucial if things went south. And let's be honest, with the Vandergelts, south is always a possibility. I knew I couldn't do this alone. I reached out to Maya, told her everything. About the loan, the hidden transfers, the years of emotional abuse. She was furious. She offered to be there with me during the confrontation, to be my witness, my backup. Having her in my corner gave me the strength I needed to face them. Solidarity is power, people. And then, the mental prep. This was the hardest part. I've spent years trying to please these people, trying to earn their respect. I had to let go of that. I had to accept that they might never approve of me, and that was okay. I had to prioritize my well-being, my self-respect. I spent hours visualizing the confrontation, practicing what I would say, preparing for every possible scenario. I meditated, I exercised, I focused on building my inner fortress. This wasn't just about money, it was about my soul. I know this is risky. I know this could blow up my marriage. But I also know I can't live like this anymore. I can't keep sacrificing my self-worth for their approval. I'm terrified, but I'm also strangely calm. Because for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm in control. I'm not a victim anymore, I'm a warrior. And I'm ready for war. Wish me luck, Reddit, I'm going in. The Vandergelt mansion loomed before me, a monument to their wealth and my years of quiet resentment. I took a deep breath, Maya by my side, a silent pillar of strength. This was it. Showtime. Inside, Reginald, Penelope, and Serena sat stiffly in the opulent living room, the air thick with anticipation. I placed a thick manila envelope on the glass coffee table, the thud echoing in the sudden silence. "What's this?" Reginald asked, his voice laced with a familiar disdain. "Evidence," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "Of your systematic financial and emotional abuse." Penelope gasped, her hand fluttering to her chest. "How dare you?" I ignored her, opening the envelope and spreading out the documents. Bank statements, credit card bills, emails, copies of the loan agreement, the paper trail of their deceit. $20,000, I said, pointing to the loan document. For Graham's failed startup. A secret Serena kept from me. Serena looked down, shame etched on her face. Ethan, I cut her off. Not now. I turned back to her parents. This, I continued, gesturing to the other documents, is the rest of it, the unauthorized transfers, the investment advice designed to funnel my money into your pockets. Reginald's face hardened. This is preposterous. We've been nothing but generous to you. Generous? I laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. You've treated me like an ATM, a walking wallet. You've mocked my career, belittled my accomplishments, and undermined my relationship with your daughter. We were just joking, Penelope protested, her voice shrill. Jokes, I repeated, my voice rising. Jokes that cut to the bone. Jokes that left me feeling small and worthless. Jokes that made me question my own sanity. The turning point came when I pulled out the email from Reginald, advising Serena to invest my money in his failing business venture. This, I said, holding it up, is where I draw the line. This is proof of your deliberate manipulation. Reginald's face paled. He opened his mouth to speak, but no words came out. For the first time, I saw a flicker of fear in his eyes, the fear of being exposed, the fear of losing control. And then Serena spoke. Ethan's right, she said, her voice trembling but firm. You've been taking advantage of him for years. I've been blind to it, enabling it, and I'm ashamed. It felt like a physical blow, hearing those words from her, a blow but a healing one. She looked at her parents, her eyes filled with a newfound resolve. I'm choosing Ethan, she declared. And I'm standing with him. The shock on Reginald and Penelope's faces was almost comical. Their carefully constructed facade of superiority crumbled before my eyes. They stammered, sputtered, tried to defend themselves, but their words were hollow, meaningless. The power dynamic had shifted. I wasn't their victim anymore. I was their judge, and I was ready to deliver the verdict. I want a full accounting of every penny you've taken, I said, my voice cold and hard. And I want a plan for repayment. Now. They stared at me, dumbfounded. The Vandergelts speechless. It was a sight I'd never thought I'd see. And it felt good, damn good. I finally had my voice back, and it was louder than ever. It's been a few months since the Vandergelt showdown, and wow, what a roller coaster. The immediate aftermath was messy. Reginald and Penelope were furious, of course. They denied everything, called me ungrateful, manipulative, even threatened legal action. Empty threats, of course. They knew I had them dead to rights. The rest of the Vandergelt clan circled the wagons, sending nasty messages, spreading rumors. It was brutal, but I held my ground. I had Maya in my corner, and for the first time I had Serena truly on my side. That was the biggest win. We're still working through the financial mess. They agreed to a repayment plan, albeit grudgingly. It'll take time, but I'm not letting up. I'm OWED every penny. The bigger challenge has been rebuilding trust with Serena. She started therapy both individually and with me. It's painful, digging up old wounds, confronting years of ingrained family dynamics, but it's necessary. We're slowly, painfully, starting to build a healthier foundation for our relationship, one based on honesty and mutual respect. The Vandergelts are a work in progress. They still haven't fully accepted responsibility for their actions, but the dynamic has definitely shifted. They're more cautious now, less condescending. They're actually treating me with a semblance of respect. It's weird. The relationship is still strained, and I doubt it'll ever be normal, but at least the blatant abuse has stopped. One unexpected outcome: Graham actually apologized. He admitted he'd screwed up, that he'd let his family's privilege blind him to the consequences of his actions. He's even started paying me back, little by little. I'm cautiously optimistic about him. I've learned a lot about myself through all this. I realized I'd been seeking validation from people who were incapable of giving it. I'd been letting them define my worth. No more. I've learned to value my own accomplishments, my own values. I've built stronger boundaries, not just with the Vandergelts, but in all my relationships. I'm no longer afraid to speak up, to defend myself. And that, honestly, has been the most liberating part of this whole ordeal. So Reddit, what do you think? Have you dealt with toxic in-laws? How did you handle it? Any advice for navigating this ongoing Vandergelt saga?